Hey, it's Shaco here. I'm gonna start reviewing games now in the EU Masters in a couple of the coming days. Probably gonna review a game or two a day and upload it to YouTube. And I'm doing this because I'm basically watching them anyways, like this, and I kind of want to showcase just how I watch it, how I review it. I usually go through these games a bit quicker than I normally would if I was coaching somebody in a session with them. But it is to showcase that I'm reviewing these games and how my thoughts are about how the game should be played and what could be done better in certain situations to actually showcase these skills. So let's get into it. So let's begin to take a look at it. It's Mouz Esports Macho, I think. Macro was the pronunciation of it. So let's see. I'm reviewing this game because I'm very excited about Prize, Dogger, Leader, and Gadget all playing for Mouz. So I expect them to actually do really well in this tournament. So I kind of wanted to take a look at their game at first. I guess you could say they are one of the favorites, but kind of in the EU Masters, it's not usually the team that's actually favored that always wins it. Usually it's some team surprises, and at this level of gameplay, there's a lot more variance between the games. It's not as set in stone as when you go up to the highest level, the best team normally wins, right? Here, like lesser teams can surprise with various tactics and other stuff. But let's take a look. It looks like that Mouz might didn't want to. It looked like Nocturne wanted to check up if they were starting red, but it looks like they know that anyways. Mouz is leeching for Udyr, and they're going back to bot. But they should probably have to push anyways, Macho. So seems normal. Hecarim looks like doing a full clear, which is pretty standard now, as well as Udyr. It's just going to be boring. Nocturne is going to have to push against Renection because of his Q and his cleave. So all in all, it looks like just setting up for farming. The any pick is very, very weird, because it was actually first rotated in the first rotation on the red side. So Mouz first picked Nocturne, and then they rotated Annie and Hecarim. And usually the thing is Annie is used as a counter, but she's like actually quite strong right now, but she doesn't really have the best burst target to nuke down because of Israel's range. So maybe she's used as a counter for Nocturne when he dives in, and you can just instant stun and kill him basically, so he can't kill your carries. As well, they drafted Saya, which is really hard for Nocturne to ult in on. So I don't think Nocturne has any good targets to actually ult on later on. Another issue with that is that there's not a lot of follow-up with Nocturne, so this is a very weird first pick in this draft. But let's see how it works out. I haven't actually watched these games yet, so I'm not spoiled from how it actually goes in the game. But I feel like the Nocturne is a bit hard to function here. Of course, he gets decent early game draft, and maybe if Pride Stalker can help him get ahead in the lane, it gets better. That was a weird ward from Annie here, putting 2 wards down in the same bush. So we see Mouz just clearing vision around mid because it's slow pushing towards Leader. And one of the things is that Leader has gotten a lot of critique for not playing control mages, right? He's known as an assassin player, popping off on Yone or something in these days, right? Yeah, okay. They show the stats exactly the same time that I'm talking about it. That's quite handy for me. He played a Yone and set already, right? And he's done crazy on it. And one of the things that teams in LEC didn't pick him up was because he didn't play the control mages that people thought, although he did play a lot of Azir, right? But he doesn't play the two metas, like always in meta champions, as Orianna and Syndra, right? So maybe he can show it off here in EU Masters. I know that probably all of the LEC teams are looking at this tournament and thinking, is there any upgrades we can get from here? And Leader could be probably one. Like, you could look at Vitality and say they could use a better mid laner. So maybe teams are looking for him, and he's trying to show something else than just his assassins. Victor is like bread and butter control mage. Okay, so here, yeah, I don't think Hecarim had any chance to contest Scott. That was a bit of weird interaction, but he only lost his ghost and the heal, and Udyr lost flash and ignite, so it's probably fine for both teams in that sense. You see Renekton getting a bit more stats and trading a bit better than early game with him. I expect Renekton to do better the later the game goes on. But still, he probably can contest one-on-one in side lane. But the game is so much about dragons right now that... Yes, let's see. That was such a greasy path from Centurios. Like, you can't walk that way. Like, Renekton just ults you and kills you. And the spell shield, you need to be better at using it at the exact time. So that was a weird, like, why would you walk that way so greedy? Just walk the long way around. So it looks like Mouz is trying to set something up in mid lane, but I don't think they can do this right now because they just lost their top laner, right? So yeah, that was such a weird play by Mouz. Let's go back and take a look at that, because so already he's tanking the minions and Sartorius up here. So actually alright trade, but Renekton will heal up off the wave as well. And he wastes his spell shield and get full comboed down. Doesn't even matter. But look at this now, that we have Ezreal and Xayah bot, and Annie just reset. So the wave is not the best state for Annie in this situation, right? But it's still coming to her. So there's literally no reason for Annie to walk further up. They know Leona is there, Brom is here now. It's such a weird, like, what Udyr is to the left. There's no way this is gonna work out. Hecarim is just gonna run away, and like Victor is so weak now compared to Annie. Like, I don't know. It seems weird to try and even fight here. That was a yikes. Oh, damn. I mean, they could see that, right? It's coming. Yeah, like, no, he must not be looking at himself, because he would be able to see it around this edge where Renekton was, and they had vision here as well, so he should definitely have dodged that. That was a bit unfortunate. Because I think Mouse Boss just made two mistakes by like Nocturne dying solo to Renekton because he's too greedy to walk around and like trying to hold the wave off, and then them trying to make a play in mid after when they don't really have the tempo or the pressure for it. And it's just Victor is so weak in this sense right here. But they do end up getting the accolade because they killed Hecarim. And Hecarim, it seems like, I don't know, he had the bot scuttle crap that wasn't contestable. Of course, they got the Udyr flash, but they almost died themselves, right? And Udyr still got the scuttle. And now again, he seemed to like be a bit out of position when Mouz were trying to do something mid lane. So it looks like he's a bit out of position as well. Okay, that's showing it again. It's just Leader can't do anything because of Tibbers right now. I mean, later on he will probably one-shot Tibbers. So okay, so they're gonna use Rift Herald top, but I don't know about this. I mean, it's a lot of tempo, but wouldn't they have gotten that tower anyways at some point, right? It already down to 2 plates, and they're not really gonna break the mid wave. Is one of those things where you have to consider, is that extra gold worth it right now? Or is it better to just, like, say, wait 5 minutes, maybe get another plate, and then get the third? Well, I mean, yeah, he does damage to Xayah, but I could just have frozen the wave now. He chooses not to. So guess it doesn't matter. It's just a weird way to use your ultimate, because you damage the minions and then they get lower, and then more minions actually die from your ultimate than the gold you get. I think he got 1 range, right? So that's a bit low. So Mouse actually got a decent gold lead now. As I say that, no, you can't flash away when Hecarim hasn't ulted yet, leader. So this is one of the things you can never do, and why Hecarim is so strong as well right now, because he just runs up and chunks you for... This is what I talked about with Zarya. It's like, Nocturne can't kill Zarya like this, because she just jumps up when you enter, and she like kites away all the damage in some way. Yeah, okay, I was talking about Hecarim and him running to you. So when any flashes on you and stuns you, and Hecarim just runs up to you, the burst damage from Hecarim just having his movement speed and Annie's burst with her ultimate, there's like no way you survive. And then you flash after when Hecarim still has ult, and this is not bronze, so people will hit that ultimate. So it's just better not to flash. And then there's like no danger on you for 5 minutes because Annie doesn't have flash. So you should be safe in that regard, right? So it's a bit of a waste from leader, and actually even in gold now. The question is it possible for Macho, I don't know. Sorry if I say it wrong. To actually kill Gadget later on Ezreal. That's the question, right? Is it possible to find Hecarim and Annie, to find some way to get in? Because I think Mouse Sports do kind of scale a little bit better, despite me talking about Nocturne being bad. But I think one of the things is that it's so hard for them to kill Leader and Gadget on their carries. It's actually quite peculiar. I'm still curious what this Annie is gonna do. Maybe Macro is gonna play like back and just tank the engage. But I don't think Mouse needs to engage because they have Ezreal and Victor. They can just poke them out. And the Italian team doesn't really have any poke in that sense. Like Zarya is not great at poking. Annie is not great at poking because of the target spells, right? So you kind of have to get into range. In the animation, you're still a bit locked. So it's easy to just like counter poke you when she does that. And you don't really want to dive into it. It's so hard for you to dive into Victor if you don't have the damage to one-shot him, because he just puts down his Graviton, and then he gets a bit of shield, and then it resets, and you get a bit more shield. And then the Chaos Storm does a lot of damage as well. So I feel like it looks like they're just farming it out now. Probably both teams are thinking about right now how they come scale into the late game, and just considering, okay, is it fine we're farming? Victor doesn't have flash now, so he's pretty vulnerable. He could have saved that, and then I could see Mouse doing something. One of the issues Mouse has right now, as I see it, is that they're not using Nocturne Ultimate for anything. He used it bot lane on Zarya and didn't get a kill. She didn't even use any of her cooldowns, right? Like summoner spells. And he used it on Renekton after, like in the same sense that he died top lane. So, and despite of this, it's fairly even in gold. So I feel like, yeah, and they're looking for it now, that they need to pressure this Victor right now when he doesn't have a flash. And this is not possible right now, right? They're not really controlling the wave. Probably any backed and TP'd in is like, yeah, I'm not gonna contest this, and Victor is safe there. So yeah, what I'm looking for now is them taking more control of a side of the jungle, right? Or do they want to play bot or top lane, right? So it's probably better to get your Zarya ahead here than Renekton, because Renekton is not gonna do a lot against Victor Ezreal later on. So Leona is contesting Vision by herself when she knows the jungle is warded. That's a bit risky, I would say, and she has Gadget now. Macro probably didn't want to go further in as they didn't have Vision, but now they're doing the correct thing, because now they're giving Zarya access to the turret without Mouse knowing whether or not they will die, or like be doved if they go up and contest the minions at the turret. So this is a perfect way of denying Ezreal some CS, And getting some turret damage, because they need to unlock these turrets. And now she's playing a bit far up, yeah. Oh, you can kill her there. I think it's fine to trade flashes here. Like, just go in as Leona and try and get the kill, or like Israel jump in, get some damage down. Because Braum wasn't that close, but maybe they didn't have vision. It's a bit uncertain about that. Yeah, so that's probably fine from Hecarim. 2 flashes and just use his ultimate, but I guess it's hard for them to contest the Drake now. It looks like they're still gonna do it, but they're not really in a position for contesting. That was a weird one. Well, he survived, but he could just have flashed out of the Dragon Pit anyways. There's no way he was running out there. So I think this is huge for Mouz, because now they can stall the game even further, right? And this is what I talked about earlier, that Macro needs to take control of this side of the jungle if they want to do this. And they did, and somehow they ganked bot lane and got something for it, right? But they didn't, in the end, they actually didn't get anything for it. It was Mouz that ran away with the dragon. And that's such a weird like circumstance that you burn 2 flashes and then right after you lose the dragon without even contesting. So this is probably like something you wouldn't see in the LEC, right? Where whoops, that was the wrong one. Where the timing of the dragon and the play you're trying to make is uncoordinated, right? There's 45 seconds to the dragon going back mid, and they will run bot in a second as well, right? You see, Hecarim is farming his jungle, like all of his camps up, right, in the side of his jungle, so he should. Xayah burns ult, and you would think this is fine. Okay, dragon in 20 seconds. Xayah doesn't have flash. We have all our ult, so there's no way she can escape Nocturne now, right? But then for some reason, why did Leona flash again? Did I miss that? Is she trying to stun Hecarim, or? Wow, okay, she was. Yeah, that was a bit unfortunate, right? But it's so weird, because Nocturne just ran down here. I mean, he loses a wave. But and Macro runs out through. Okay, so they're afraid of the counter gank, and Annie is still mid. But both Annie and Renekton, like when they were in the jungle back here. If my YouTube wants to go back here, right? In this situation, Braum still has 1 ward, and he doesn't use it here. With 45 seconds to Drake, it doesn't look like Renekton. You see him running to the top lane, right? And okay, Braum uses his wards toward the mid lane here. He uses in the chicken camp. Like, this is so weird. So Renekton recalls 40 seconds to dragon, right? So you think, okay, he's gonna run to dragon, and they're gonna take dragon, right? They just took control of the blues, red side jungle. They got everything, and they got 2 control wards in there. They have a ward here as well. Right towards the dragon entrance, the river entrance. But then Braum chooses toward the chicken camp, and then they choose to make a play towards bot lane. And you would consider if Braum just put a ward over here at the golems. Then Renekton could, when Hecarim is making his play, if Renekton TPs here, he runs down here and cuts them off, and then they can just dive him. Let's see how that would have rolled out if Renekton had TP now and could TP here. Okay, the wave is not totally pushed, but this could have been solved as well, right? So Xayah plays a bit up in lane. Israel used his E there for poke, I think. It looked like that. Which is a bit weird. I still think, like, look at this now. If you have a TP ward here, you can TP down with Renekton. Victor doesn't have TP, Nocturne has TP, yeah. But these two doesn't have flash. You can dive with Braum. I think Israel has no flash and probably still doesn't have his E. But yeah, and he doesn't have TP and they have Prio mid. I don't know. I think it was a better situation because now Renekton ends up TPing here and there's like nothing he can do because they're all together now. And then he runs out here instead of running to the back. I think if he actually tried to do a flank, there's like no way that Mouz engages on you because Leona doesn't have ult yet, and you know that. So if Renekton runs around here to the bottom of the pit instead, he would be in a much better situation because he can go over the wall as well. And now they end up doing nothing. Like they get 2 flashes, but that doesn't matter. The next Drake is in 5 minutes. They probably lose like the Herald later on, but I don't know. It seems like they don't know Mako what to do in the last 1.5 minutes. They didn't look coordinated, right? It looked like the top lane was like just recalling, running back to lane. It was like, guys, the dragon is up. Oh shit, the dragon is up. I forgot all about it. It's like, nobody communicating what to do in that situation. You have to be on the same page of whether or not you actually contest the dragon. Okay, 1 minute to dragon. What are we gonna do? Are we gonna set up vision control in their red side? What is he doing? He just saw them. Oh well, he's dead. You have to set up control in their red side jungle. You have butt pressure with Saya. We have full control to their red side jungle. Okay, let's set control up here. And they try to do something bad, and it's like half a play. Yeah, you get Ezreal flash, Leona flash. But now you're not in a position to fight the dragon because you tried to, and you didn't fully commit to the play. If you actually had Renekton TP down there, maybe you had gotten both kills, and then it was a free Drake, and then you're starting snowballing the game. Or you have Nocturne TP as well, and Nocturne would lose waves again, right? Nocturne ended up walking down there, and they still got the dragon. So it just looks like they're not on the same page. And that can't happen on this level, I think. Regardless, they're actually up in gold now, because Nocturne is also griefing it a bit by dying 2 times now randomly. So what's the next play now? You'll probably just see both teams farming up for the dragon. It's in 2 minutes. And now that Mouz is up 2-1 in dragons, I don't even think they have to contest this dragon. It's just Cloud, so there's like cooldown reduction on your ultimate. It doesn't really matter here, the second Drake. They have so much time to just scale up and just ignore all of this. And yeah, look at this. Like, what can Renekton do here? Oh. And now any TPs? Again, it looks cool, or like so uncoordinated. Like, what are you gonna do here? So, you know these two are here. You know Nocturne has ult and TP. Yeah, and if a smart team, like, you know Gachi is not bot because the wave is not pushed up. You know Annie is there, so oh. So you are 4 people here. Like, I don't see how this is diveable with Victor, Leona, Udyr. Like, you have so much CC. Gadgets is even here now, right? And this, you have 0 vision control. If we take a look at the wards, it's like, yeah, we have in River and we have 1 ward here, Mako, right? You have 0 control around the mid turret. You have no clue what is going to happen here. So you're just walking up to this with no idea. Like, you still have a pink in this bush here. Like, it's TP ward as well, potentially. So now Nocturne is in range of ult. Yep, that's gonna happen, right? And Renekton was caught sideline, and he can walk up to Udyr because Udyr would just stun him, and like Ezreal would kill him. But he can't dash to Ezreal as well. So Renekton just end up dying without actually doing anything. Yeah, this. And now we need TPs. Yeah, well, they probably end up getting the mid turret now because Mouz is scattering away, but I don't think 2 kills is worth the mid turret here. Like, this is so good for Mouz. Just like keep scaling. Maybe Nocturne will actually be useful. It looks like it actually probably doesn't matter because Victor and Ezreal will be so strong anyways. Maybe it doesn't matter. This is just so easy for them. I think Mouz is like now in their communication is just saying, yeah, just keep scaling, just don't die. Just keep playing around with Nocturne ult and farming up in side lanes, getting our jungle camps. It looks like they're actually setting up to contesting this dragon. I mean, macro again, like they just got the mid turret, but the timing was a bit off, and now they have 0 control. Okay, now we have to have a TP from Renekton that's decent, right? He comes from this is good. Yeah, I don't know. You should go for Ezreal here though. I mean, the TP was smart, but the execution less so. So this is a good TP this time. Because Mouz is trying to get control over this quadrant of the river, right? And there's no way of escaping this TP from Renekton, so this is good. But if you look at 3 people here, 1 guy here, and then a Hecarim ulting in, they're so far apart. It's not great, right? Yeah, he gets 2 ults. Maybe they didn't spot Renekton, because Gadget just eat over here. So this is an alright ultimate, right? But like Victor is still untouched, and he doesn't have flash, and Renekton is going for Ezreal. Like imagine Renekton just stunning this guy. Like he'd be dead, and Hecarim is going the other way as well. So yeah, you flash over the wall for Gadget, but if you actually went for Victor, you win this fight and you kill Leona as well probably. So what ends up is Victor running away because his team wasn't close enough for Hecarim ult. Renekton ended up being close enough, but he chose the wrong target, and this is really well played by Leona, right? Flashing over the wall, helping Ezreal, because she knows if she just stuns Renekton once, he can't do any more because he just eat over the wall and flashed. So there's literally nothing they can do to kill Ezreal now. But they should just have killed Victor. Like if Renekton targeting is better here, it's so simple. So improvement in the TP department, like a good TP from Renekton, but his targeting is wrong. This is something again where I'm talking about communication, because they should know Victor Flash is not up, and it doesn't matter if Ezreal actually goes over the wall, whatever. Like if you just one shot Victor, there's a carry out, and you're not gonna die as Renekton if you kill Victor before he actually does anything. Ezreal is not gonna kill you, and you're so huge as Renekton at this stage, right? This is like your strongest point where, like, he doesn't have 2 items, but almost, right? But it's still 1 item Goldringer, so you should be able to just sustain in between all of the team members there. It's so weird, and any could follow up with ult flash and things. It's just it looks like the communication is like not on point, or like the tethering between the teammates are not like good enough. Let's actually see what happens more, because they actually end up getting the Drake now, as it looks like, because they still killed Nocturne. But I just think like they could have aced this team fight, and then they could have walked to Baron. And I think this is not even bad for Mouz. Like yeah, of course it's bad, but it's not like catastrophic. It's just fine. Like still 2 Drakes away from it's a Cloud Soul. Like in 10 minutes, Victor is gonna have another item. Ezreal is gonna have like 1.5 item more probably. It looks like he's almost finished with his Duskblade. Actually curious that Victor builds Ludens here. Cosmic Drive is nice, but they have like 2.5 free tanks. And he builds some HP items as well, usually. It's like maybe he just wants the movement speed. I can't blame him. I think Ludens is a bit underrated right now. Yeah, go away from the farm, Bright Stalker. You need the Victor to have that. I'm just gonna take a sip here, where they're just walking around. So it looks like Mako is like setting up for Baron, or at least trying so. And they probably need need to try and force it, but it's so hard to force it against like Victor, Israel, Nocturne. Because as soon as they go into the Baron pit and start hitting the Baron, you just like Israel poke with ult and Victor ult. It's like even a Leona ult in the pit is not enough to just like do so much damage, and none of them are like mega tanky. You just it's not like you have a Cyan or an Orange just walking up and tanking the poke. You have Braum, with his shield can tank some poke, but this is a long cooldown when he just used it, right? Yeah, you can tank Ezreal ult, but what about after that? So Mouz is trying to keep... I get you that ult again. The Mouz is trying to keep like control around the Baron pit so they don't have to contest it. Ooh. This is a bit forced. I mean, it didn't cost anything, but it didn't cost anything from either team, right? So now, yeah, you don't even have a pink ward in your Baron pit. Marco, come on. Just put the pink ward down. No. Hecarim, go do it. Nope. So this is like bread and butter when you try to set up a Baron. Like, you need a pink ward in the pit. Because otherwise you have a blue trinket being used there, and then you have no idea that the other team actually knows you're not there. So now all the pressure is relieved, and Mouz can just walk up freely because they know they're not on Baron, so they probably reset, went to clear their jungle, went to buy items, and then, yeah, okay. But you lost all your tempo. Now Mouz has the tempo. Mouz is fine with this. So I kind of want Leona to she's sitting on 3 wards right now, right? So I kind of want her to just like drop a ward closer to the Baron now. You drop one in the mid lane, right here. This is really good. I really like that ward. No, wait. There's nothing to contest. There's a minute to the dragon. Why would you walk in there? This is like things you tell in solo queue where people write back like, why would you walk in there? Now Nocturne's ult. Go on, Sire. Yeah, they just lost. Okay, maybe they actually... How do Mouz keep getting away with this? Like, nobody died. And they just lost their ultimates. But so did Marco. Hecarim has ult, but still don't think it's enough now. That how do they keep getting away with not being punished for these face checks that like Leona is doing? It's so weird. It looks like they're not really like executing it properly enough. I feel like if Hecarim just ults Leona backwards, they'd probably kill her. Now both teams are the classic Negaram contesting for the mid wave, which is fine. This is decent outcome catches. It's like perfect Ezreal play when you can use it and actually hit somebody. Sometimes he's using it a bit too early. Now Leona is going in without actually having anything following up. She just Leona, you did well in that one dragon fight, but look at your team. Did you why are you so urgent to go in? Look at this. You have 2 over the wall, and you have another 2 contesting Hecarim over here, which is good. Like, so she actually flashes in. Like, mechanics are nice because look at how she's buffering her ultimate, right? She's kind of casting R and E at the same time, so the E hits the same time that the ult hits. It's pretty good. But Ezreal has to expend his E to get it close, and Nocturne is still running around the pit. Victor is not hitting either, right? So this is what I talked about with Hecarim still having ult. And only Victor has ult now. He had ult. It's Victor just got it up, right? So you can't do that, and there's no need to do that. You playing with Victor and Ezreal, just let them poke. Like, look at Hecarim, he's half health. And they end up getting dragon anyways. Like, I don't know. It looks like Gadget is gonna end up carrying this game. Like, I don't see how they're gonna kill him. Even with his support and mid laner, like, support and top laner running it down at times, it doesn't really matter. I think Gadget and Leader playing it pretty well. But yeah, it's nice that you hit that. But look at Victor, he's not doing anything. Oh yeah, he eat after. The cooldown timings are off as well, right? This is something you need to notice as a support as well. Like, did my Victor just use both his abilities? Yeah, okay. So if I go stun lock this target, what still happens? Basically nothing, right? So again, Braum flashes in, and his team is not even close. This is like the story of this game is just somebody engaging without somebody else being close enough, like Leona, Braum, Hecarim, and now Renekton comes in to the fight, right? This looks like solo queue sometimes, I feel like. It's like, oh yeah, I can outplay this now. Now Mouz is ahead, right? They got Baron off that. Yeah, this is probably GG. I have such a hard time seeing how do they kill Israel now. He's so fat, right? Even if Hecarim jumps in, Israel just eased backward and killed him. Yeah, I don't know. Well, we can talk about what Mako actually can do to get back. So they're trying to set up a... Yeah, I was about to say, this probably doesn't work. This is not a good bush for it. It's too close to the middle. And you kind of want to... Like, when you have vision there, you kind of want to contest. Plus you have Braum there, and like Hecarim. Nobody's going to face check that bush like that. Yeah, so Mouz is just using the pressure, because Mako was trying to... Hecarim has to ult now. Mouz is just saying, like, fuck mid-wave, we're going to go bot and push it and brute force, because we have 2 poke champions, and you have, like, not great wave clear because you choose to pick any. So what are you going to do about it? Like, just shoving their wall in their face, saying you can't do anything about this? This is pretty easy. This is fine, because now they can get... They just should be in a position to get the Drake next time it spawns. Hecarim is afraid to even farm his own jungle, and Renekton, yeah, he gets a turret on the other side, but tier 2 turrets doesn't really give a lot of gold, and especially not at this stage of the game. It's not like the percentage of that gold is so low. So now that they pushed all of Mako back to the bot wave, they can just go through mid. Yeah, again, this is a bit over eager and totally unnecessary. Because now that you're lacking Leona ult, you can't really defend in the same ways that you could before. So again, totally unnecessary. They're just forcing something that's not even close to being able to be forced. And now you're... Oh, that's just a lag. I thought he used a spell shield. Now you're Nocturnal. Sure, it should be up. It should be up for Dragon. And I really hope he thought about this, because if it is, okay, I'm okay with the play. Because you can say, yeah, whatever. We could have gotten a kill. And then it's easier to take control around the Baron Pit. But if it's not, yeah, okay, it is. Because they have 2 Cloud Drakes as well. Okay, it is up. I'm alright with that play then. Yeah, okay, so this is a like now again. Like trying to get a bit more deep vision. Now they need to group. Like, Braum, get out here. No, Braum, you don't need to run through mid here. You should just have gone with Hecarim into the jungle. Well, Mouz has like full control now, and it's like so GG. The gold is like 2k, but it's not even close anymore. Yeah, Mouz plays alright, but I think the biggest issue is actually Mako not taking advantage. Like that dragon fight where Renekton tried to kill Ezreal instead. You could have killed Victor and probably like another Leona or something. You only ended up killing Nocturne and lost the dragon. Like, look at this. It's like Ezreal Q is 0 second cooldown, it feels like. And he's trying to flank, and I'm not sure I enjoy this, because she's not one-shotting anybody right now. She's like 15. Victor is 17. I just realized Leona is level 10. Doesn't really matter, right? But so Renekton just recalled, and now he TP's there, and Israel got. But you don't play a front to back, Mako. If you play front to back, you lose. You lose to Israel Victor front to back. No way they get Israel. How, Gadget? How? What a fucking throw! I mean, probably doesn't matter because Baron is not up, but can you do it? Can you get it? No, he didn't. That was a huge throw by Mako. Not Mako, Mouse. What Pride? What are you doing? Doesn't achieve it. What are you doing, Sartorius? Just run. It's like, imagine dying now. You're one. Actually, no way. But there's like 30 seconds to Dragon now. Like, not the Baron. Oh god, that's a. Mako is gonna get Baron now. Wow. And I just said there's no way they kill Ezreal. Did I go too far? No, this is fine. So they're trying to get a pick on Hecarim here, which is nice to look for. Like, they have so full control. Okay, he recalls because you get low, right? You should just recall now, Renekton, if you're low. So how did I actually kill Ezreal? I know Hecarim ulted him, but do they not know where Renekton is? Since Gadget is playing like that? Let me slow this down. So Gadget is like playing to not poke. Maybe he's afraid of Annie as well, which is actually alright. Ah, Leona, you missed everything. And Nocturne ults Annie alone. It's a good locket there by Braum. Leader is not moving the Chaos Storm. I don't know why it has to stay there and not go back. Okay, so let's say Mouse just said, look at this spicy mid lane turret. Look at this spicy wave in your base. What are you gonna do about it? They could literally rotate to mid, take the mid turret, and then rotate to top and take the top turret, and then just recall and be ready for Baron. And they would probably win off that, right? Like, you have such a fat Victor in Israel. Like, that's like no way you should lose a fight. But you already expended Nocturne ult and Victor ult and Leona ult, which is like your tools. You need your ultimates. Hecarim and Xayah still have ultimates, and you choose to actually try to go back into the fight here. Like, look at this positioning from. I don't enjoy Renekton going over here in this because now they're splitting a bit up. But look at this positioning, like Braum in the front, a fairly healthy Hecarim with ult, and Xayah and Annie back here. Like, there's no way you're gonna kill these two guys. Like, look at it. Renekton, what are you doing, man? What if you were in this bush? And now that Hecarim ults in, why does Ezreal run that way? I mean, he gets hit here. That's so weird. I would sure he would be running the other way, right? Yeah, okay, he ends up here. I mean, now Renekton kind of ended up in a decent position by coincidence. But how does he actually get by here? Because the turret is up here, like. What if Leona actually. Maybe they didn't know Renekton was here. So weird. Mouse Sports. That was kind of grief. So my expectation is that Macro should be able to take this Baron fairly easy, right? That's my expectations, but I don't know. My expectations have been kind of wrong sometimes here. I didn't even expect Mouse Sports to still be in this game, kind of. No, Leona, what? What? Are you still alive? I'll wait for your team! You don't need to help Udyr there. Udyr just doesn't need to be there. Like, you're still sitting on 3 wards. Like, did you ward over here now? You actually did. Okay, and it actually didn't spot. I thought it would have spotted Hecarim's Weaver. But your team is like, just wait another 5-10 seconds, because you're not gonna stop the Baron by yourself, right? And Udyr is so much more slippery than you. He can just run away, but you're playing Leona. Now this Baron is getting so hard for you to retake because you don't have Leona to go in anymore and lock them down. Damn, Victor hurts now. But this is what I talked about before, like 10 minutes ago, when Mako kind of had people around the Baron pit. I was like, they're trying to set up Baron, but I don't think they can do it because Victor and Ezreal poke into the Baron pit is just too obnoxious to deal with. And then, wait, where did Nocturne TP to? Oh, he's here in the fight now. Like again, Mouse, you don't need to do this. Just go mid, Mouse. No. Wait. Wow, that Victor ult. Damn. Okay, I guess it doesn't matter. Or does it? Like, how did it not die? Well, is this the Penta for Gadget? No. What mistiming. No, are you kidding me? Oh, God. So, this game is so messy. Like, I really hope that when Peter is saying on Twitter said that teams in EU Masters had great macro, I hope he didn't refer to this game. Because this game the macro has been really. Why are you doing Baron without a jungler when the opponent's jungler? Like, this is the second or third time that Mouse just had an easy access to leave the fight and just go push mid and get an easy turret. And like, you get so much more access by having that turret down. I mean, there's so much damage from Big Jolt. And what are you afraid of, Nocturne? You have Sterix. Imagine Nocturne actually doing damage here. Look at this. Look at this Nocturne. Like, he ults and then go out. Look how low these guys are. And now his Sterix problem is like, it's like he doesn't realize he has Sterix. I think Israel should have ulted after the team, right? And not for Renekton. They're gonna kill Renekton anyways. Well, let's see. I mean, Mouse is still ahead, despite the gold lead being to Mako. But Gatkins is still pretty much unkillable. And I'm a bit unsure about Annie's damage now, because now she has 4 items and a lot of magic penetration, right? She has the Proto Belt that gives extra magic penetration, like flat, with the Sorcerer's Boots. She's the only magic damage dealer on her team. So it means there's like probably no MR on Mouse Sports team, besides like maybe Vixer has like a rune, Nocturne has a little bit, Udyr has a little bit, but it's not like great on like Victor and Ezreal. It's just they could get one shot. Yeah, this is a great TP by the Renekton's coming up there, yeah. But again, like they're not forcing it. Well, at least they're pushing mid to kind of get some control back. But now okay, so we're going to Drake now. We're ignoring Baron, I guess. This is good by Hecarim though. Like watching Leona, like they're both covering each other kind of. But if Leona gets too far away from his team, like Hecarim can just walk up to her. As long as he doesn't get like instant CC'd and like nuked. But he doesn't have vision. They're trying to 2-man. Like Annie just ran bot. But I have to contest that. Don't do it, Leona. Don't do it. Wait for them to do something. This is a bit too early, Nocturne. This is a bit too early. I mean, it ended up working out. Yeah, great. Don't fight. Don't fight, Mouse. Just don't fight. That was so much better by Mouse. Actually, I thought that Nocturne ult was a bit too early, but of course he's level 16, so the duration is pretty long. But now you need to contest, yeah, the Elder. If you just give away the Elder now, the Baron is so irrelevant. And you just spent all your ultimates? Like, yeah, now you can't contest this. I mean, it's like the Avengers meme. What did the Baron cost? It's like, everything. Nah, no way. What are you doing, Renekton? Yeah, it's fine, but if you play 4v3, you're gonna lose the fight. What actually happened here? Like, Braum is so low. Any TP's in. I don't know why. I feel like they had to contest. It's just a problem that Macro didn't do anything when they had to do something. Because their comp is just, they can't kill Ezreal. And now she leaves the scuttle to Victor. Like, 1 or 2. TP's into the base. I mean, that's smart by Nocturne, TP into the base. And they keep running away because they actually don't even need the Elder, I think, here to win the fight. Because they're so clumped up again, and that's the problem with Macro's comp. Like, they can't really turn with Braum, right? The problem with having Braum here is that it's so hard to turn because your only turning condition is any flash ulting, and she never really did that. She did that like one time on Victor in mid, and that's it. I mean, it's obvious that Gatch is a good player here, and Leader did really well as well, and Pride Stalker even, but I mean, maybe there's still some level disparity between these guys. Okay, they actually end up being up in gold. I mean, Macro is not a bad team, by say. Like, I think some of them played pretty well, like mechanically, but as a team, as a whole, they kind of lacked the coordination that you should have at this level. I feel like, or at least to step up to the next level, right? There's a little bit extra you need to be able to perform at that level, and you kind of needed that, and it was coherent in the Dragon fights and how they used their TP advantage and things like that. Where Mouse just, I mean, they had the superior comp probably, even though the Nocturne is a bit irrelevant here. Like, it could have been any champion, and they probably have won with that champion. I think any tank champion would have been better. Just like pick Sion or pick GP or something, and it'd been fine. But they had so many opportunities to just like ignore the fight and just scale and just like go take an objective, like go take mid, go away, because Macro often got caught on the wrong side of the objective for their side of the map. So Macro ended out positioning to the side lanes where Mousebot has the positioning to the mid lane, and then you can just leave and go mid, because Mousebot's wave was always in a better position in the mid wave. And then you take an easy mid turn, and then you get extra access to their jungle. I mean, of course, the tier 1 is more important, but the tier 2 gives another opportunity to actually push members of Mako further back because they have Nocturne, right? So if Mako's members just go up around the Raptor, you can just ult them with Nocturne if you're in a position, right? And Leona can lock them further down, and Ezreal can follow up. So you have a lot of long-range damage in that sense. So it's weird that they don't choose to like unlock this potential, because it makes Mako so much more scared. And then you can actually deboard this as well to get further vision around, like, oh, Mako resetting, where are they going? The ward between the wolves and the raptors in the mid lane there gets so much vision around where people are going and what they're thinking of, where should our next play be. So they had that potential, and I feel like it's a bit unfortunate that they didn't do anything about it. But they did definitely deserve to win here. They had the better draft probably in the end, and he was, I mean, despite the score, she was kind of useless. She didn't do anything. She set up a gang on Victor early game, was pretty good, right? But then didn't do anything, I feel like. But it's hard to play Annie, so as a question when I started this video, is like, what is Annie actually gonna do here? And I just didn't see it, right? And it's the same with Renekton, like, just no cohesion between the picks and how they played in the game, Mako. So deservedly Mouz won, and probably one of the favorites, but I'm unsure. They had some weird plays, right? But then Gachi was like, I feel like he was hard carrying on Israel, and Pride Struggle did all right, and Leader had some all right ults later on, but it's hard to do anything as Victor early game, and he did his job later, so that's pretty good. Well, that's enough for me. That video was probably a bit longer than I expected to, because I actually thought these games would be better played, and there were quite a few mistakes compared to what I was expecting. But I hope to do another video tomorrow on another game. I'm not sure which game to choose. I'm looking forward to seeing Macoon play probably, so I might watch one of those games tomorrow. Hey, it's Jaco here. I'm gonna start reviewing games now in the EU Masters in a couple of the coming days. Probably gonna review a game or two a day and upload it to YouTube. And I'm doing this because I'm basically watching them anyways like this, and I kind of want to showcase just how I watch it, how I review it. I usually go through these games a bit quicker than I normally would if I was coaching somebody in a session with them. But it is to showcase that I'm reviewing these games and how my thoughts are about how the game should be played and what could be done better in certain situations to actually showcase these skills. So let's get into it.